Patrick Harvie is the Minister for Active Travel. Good morning to you, Patrick.
Good morning.
The current Scottish Government might have different priorities in a few areas at the moment. They've delayed the deposit return scheme. When did you find out that it was going to be delayed?
Well, that was obviously a recommendation that my colleague Laura Slater worked up and discussed with the First Minister.
So that came from the Green Party. It wasn't. That came from the Green Party. Then it wasn't from the First Minister.
Well, Laura Slater is the minister responsible and worked up proposals. As she had been saying, she was doing well in advance, actually, of the SNP leadership.
No, she said it was going to launch in August, and the First Minister stood up in Parliament and said it would launch next March instead. So she had continued to say it was going to launch in August.
She had said for a long, long time that she was working on proposals that would amend that scheme to take account of some of the concerns of small businesses.
But not delay it.
And that's exactly what she did.
You said you would have walked away from the Bute House agreement had Kate Forbes won the SNP leadership. Now that they've delayed the bottle deposit scheme for a year, did you ever think about breaking the bond with your SNP partners then?
What we have in the Bute House agreement is a cooperation agreement that not only contains specific policies like active travel, like the deposit return scheme and a great deal more, but a way of working, a degree of cooperation and mutual respect. That system is in place. That relationship is in place. And if, obviously, if there had been a candidate elected who'd been, spending weeks attacking that relationship, then that wouldn't have been viable. But I'm very pleased that we have a Scottish government and a Scottish Green Party that are committed to continuing that
even though one of your key policies has been delayed.
Well, obviously, this particular policy has been sabotaged by the UK government. That's deeply regrettable. No one's happy about that except for those seeking to sabotage it.
And that's a claim the UK government would, I suspect, would deny were they here.
We know that it can't proceed without that exemption from the deeply hostile Internal Market Act, an act which fundamentally undermines devolution. So we'll continue to challenge the existence of that act, and we'll continue to challenge the UK government to grant exemption under the Internal Market Act in order that this scheme can go ahead.
Is there anything that would break the Bute House agreement when it comes to the police investigation into the SNP's finances?
The Bute House agreement is a cooperation about how government is working. We're not the same political party. We're two separate parties, and internal matters for their party are a matter for the SNP.
But if there's criminal charges brought, for instance, would you consider breaking that then?
I think you're being wildly speculative at the moment. What we have is an investigation internally with the SNP, an investigation by the police of the SNP. I'm not a member of the SNP, and I think you're going to have to ask them questions about that investigation. OK,
well, you've said that the SNP's ongoing row over its finances is an internal matter. Is the internal row now starting to interfere with the Scottish Government's ability to deliver for the public?
Well, it's certainly not interfering in my ability to deliver on my portfolio, like the launch of the cycling framework today.
I'm not asking about your portfolio specifically. I'm talking about the SNP's ongoing finance row. Are SNP ministers having to focus elsewhere, perhaps?
You're asking a different political party about the SNP's internal issues, so you're really going to have to ask the SNP.
But I'm asking you whether you think it's impacting on their ability to deliver for the Scottish public in terms of how they're governing.
It's certainly not impacting on my ability. I haven't spoken to other ministers who said that there's a connection between that and their ability to deliver on their portfolios.
So you feel that they're 100% focused on the job in government rather than on internal party issues?
You really seem interested in getting me to comment on the SNP.
Well, you're a party of government. You're in the government with them, and I'd be interested to hear what you think about the capability to govern when there are so many internal issues with the party.
Green Party colleague Laura Slater and my Green colleagues in the Scottish Parliament parliamentary group are focused on delivering the commitments that have brought the Scottish Greens into government for the first time. We're cracking on with that, and we certainly don't feel held back by anything that's going on with another political party.
You don't feel held back? Perhaps support for the SNP dropping in recent polls, showing a rise in the number of seats that you might take at the next Holyrood elections?
Well, I think that's probably testament to the fact that there have been in the past a significant number of people who thought well of the Greens, who thought we'd like to see more green policies in place, but didn't think we would ever have a chance to be in government. Now we're getting the chance to deliver on a track record like the huge investment in active travel that we're seeing at the moment. And as we continue to do that, I hope that many more people will think, I don't just support green policies, I'm going to vote for them because I know they can be delivered.
Minister for Active Travel, Patrick Harvie, thank you very much indeed for joining us this morning.